Welcome each of you to tonight's meeting, June the 21st, 2021, 21st. Again, welcome to tonight's meeting. If you all would please stand at this time for a moment of silence, and then we'll proceed with the Pledge of Allegiance. If we'll pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, I would like to welcome you to tonight's meeting, the school board meeting in Madison County. Anyone wishing to address the board may do so during public input. You will have 3 minutes to address the board. The sign-in sheet to speak during public input is on the table to the left as you enter the boardroom. Thank you, Ms. Bishop. Our school board minutes this evening are being recorded by Ms. Bishop. Board members present are Mr. Carroll, Ms. Bell, Ms. Gibson, Ms. Williamson, and myself. Our board attorney tonight is Mr. Clay Snickner. Ms. Joseph is present, our superintendent. Okay, at this time, I'm going to amend the agenda to move the mental health coordinator job description to create a 5.8. Under items of individual consideration of 5.8, the mental health counselor job description. Okay, items for individual consideration. The first person on items of individual consideration is Ms. Linda Irvine, the clerical salary scale. Ms. Irvine?
Did somebody sign up for public comment?
That's it. I just said it wrong.
I'm sorry.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Linda Irvine. I'm a personnel specialist of HR department. I'm coming to you this evening because I've been trying to get clarification on something for several years now. Back in 2017, 2018, Dr. Pickles and Sam Stonecker came to me and they said that my job description was being changed to a confidential job description. And with this, I would get 4 steps, and that, but I could no longer be a part of the union, but my salary scale would be, would be governed by the clerical salary scale, and that was put to me in writing. She gave me this letter stating that my salary, I would be a confidential employee, get the 4 steps for being a confidential employee, which took me from step 20 to step 24. And that I would remain on the clerical salary scale. When Ms. Joseph became superintendent, she changed the clerical salary scale, which was on the same salary sheet as the administrative salary scale. This salary scale had been used in the past to govern all clerical workers that that were hired with a high school diploma, AA, or a college degree. There's 3 levels for the clerical salary scale. In order to get the highest level, you would have to earn a bachelor's degree, which is what I did. But like I said, Ms. Joseph changed that salary scale. At the time that she changed it, I was on step 24. When she changed it, she added more steps onto the clerical salary scale, and where I should be according to the clerical salary scale, I'm not on that. With her changing this scale, I was on 24 when it was changed, step 24 when it was changed 3 years ago, and I'm still on step 24. And everyone is saying, you didn't lose any money, you didn't lose any money. No, I didn't lose any money, but long term. And my problem is, I don't understand why this was done to me, and now all of a sudden someone can come along and say that letter is no good. It's not legal and binding. I was brought up to believe that your word of bond was legal and binding, and then you're telling me that a letter, a documented letter, is not legal and binding. It's not, I feel like I'm being punished for whatever reason, I don't know. But this letter states that I will remain on the clerical salary scale. I have been taken off that salary scale. All I'm asking is that this letter be honored because I accepted it in good faith. It was given to me in good faith, and I accepted it in good faith. And I just want this letter to be honored, or I want to move back to where I was and not be a confidential employee. That's what I'm asking the board, somebody to give me a decision. I've been trying to get a decision since 2019 on why this was done to me. And I told Ms. Joseph it's nothing personal, but I can't let it go until I get a clear answer, and until this letter is either honored or I'm placed back on the clerical salary scale that I was on before this change took place. I'm looking forward to hearing from someone. I'm hoping it doesn't take another 3 years, 3 months, 3 weeks. I'm just looking forward to an answer to something that's been going on since 2019. Thank you. I appreciate you listening to me.
Thank you. Okay. The next person up to speak is Carrie Lee Baxley concerning expanding Pinetta Elementary School.
Hello, good evening. I'm Carrie Lee Baxley. My husband and I live in Pinetta, and we moved to Pinetta from Cherry Lake about 4 years ago with great consideration of where our children will attend school. And we have 3 children. Our oldest is 9. He will be going into the 4th grade. We also have another child who is 7 and who will be going into the 2nd grade. We have a young one who's not yet in elementary school who is 2. We have a vested interest in our children's education and in this community. We are very supportive and interested in the expansion of our community school, Pinetta Elementary School, to the 8th grade. As we look forward to our oldest, he's going to be in 4th grade, so we've got a couple of years where he will attend school whenever he goes into the 6th grade. We, like many others that we encounter and talk to, have some major decisions ahead. We know several parents who have chosen to take their child out of the public school system here in Madison County and move into either the private school, into virtual learning, homeschooling. It is our hope that we may continue to have our children here in the public school system, and having our community school would make that a much easier decision. We love Pinetta. We feel like we get a very good education there, and we feel like our teachers are able to really connect with the students. I think being on a smaller scale lets them really be able to continue to know these students, to help them learn, and to foster a very good learning environment for them. And we hope that that could be continued through the 8th grade to give our children the best education that we could hope for. And so I hope that that really is something that could be seriously considered, and we would be happy to help in any way that we can in trying to help see that happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Baxley, last week we had a workshop last Monday
Yes.
with this topic being discussed, and we are looking into like the possibilities this next year of possibly what can be done. So
Great.
it is something that we had this conversation for about 2.5 hours last Monday night concerning this. So
I'm glad to hear that.
it's something in the future that we're going to be like I think our decision was to go to the schools and have conversations with the parents there of how best we make it meet your needs and the school's needs.
Absolutely. Well,
Okay.
I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the next person, Mr. Darren Baxley.
Hello, I'm Darren Baxley, and I'm here basically just to give public announcement that after seeing in the newspaper that Elias Polk brought about the idea of letting the community schools go back to being through the 8th grade, I am in full support of it. My wife has pretty well elaborated on all the concerns. I really feel like it will help bring some students back into our education system that have left to go into homeschool, which certainly would help with funding. And then I want to thank you all for all of the dedication and service that y'all provide to the county. I get to see a lot of teachers who come through the veterinary clinic, and I want you to know, if we didn't feel like this public county education system could provide to our children what they need, we wouldn't be in it. And I do believe that we have got some of the best teachers around. And so, if there's any way that we can help, give ideas or support, please, we'd be glad to help. And I hope that we do get to see this through. I know there's a lot of alumni from all of these community schools that got to go through the 8th grade, some the 10th, some even all the way through 12. And you know, I've heard over time in the 15 years that we've been here that they miss seeing that. I think there's a lot of people that's in the county that love getting to see their children, their grandchildren, get to stay in their community school for a longer period of time. People love the communities that they're in. I think it would help. I think it helps student retention. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
I'd like to say that, like, to reinforce what you said, Mr. Alford, that we are not putting it to rest. This is going to be a year of exploring different possibilities of what can happen that would be the 22-23 school year.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank y'all for speaking tonight. Okay, the next item would be the consent agenda items. 4.1 would be the minutes from June the 7th's meeting and June the 14th's workshop. 4.2 is Title V amendment, which was $59,148. 4.3 is the CARES Act Amendment 2 of $75,364. 4.4 is fuel bids for this upcoming year, and J&J Strong has been the recommended bid winner. 4.5 is our PACE contract, which has to do with professional development for the district. And 4.6 is our contract with Michael Vincent. 4.7 is out-of-district travel, and that would include the 55th Annual FACTE Conference in Orlando, and it's funded through our CARES CTE, and it's of a total of $781. Is there a motion for the consent items?
I move to approve the consent items.
It's been properly moved by Ms. Gibson. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Carroll. Is there any discussion? If there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please show a hand. 5-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval. 5.1, personnel changes. Dr. Blue.
Good evening, Brother Chair and board members.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I ask that the board at this time approve 5.1 personnel changes at this time.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the personnel changes?
I made the motion to approve the personnel changes.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Bell. Is there a second?
Second.
second by Ms. Williamson. Is there any discussion? If there's no further discussion, it's been properly moved by Ms. Bell, seconded by Ms. Williamson. All those in favor, show a hand, please. 5-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval. 5.2 is permission to advertise policy revisions. We have policy 4122.01, prohibition against disability discrimination in employment. Policy 3362, anti-harassment policy. Policy 4122, non-discrimination and equal employment opportunity. And policy 5610.01, emergency removal of students. Those are our policies for permission to advertise.
I made the motion to, permission to advertise policy revision.
It's been properly moved by Ms. Bell. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Gibson. Is there any discussion? If there's no further discussion, all those in favor for the permission to advertise the policy revisions, please show a hand. 5-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval to advertise. Requests for extra summer hours and summer school staff, Dr. Blue.
Yes, sir, Brother Chair and Board, I'd like approval for request for extra summer hours and summer school staff for this summer. 5.3 to be approved, please.
Does this need to be separate, the hours and the person, and the summer school employee?
We couldn't do it separate.
I mean, I'm not asking that it be, but is it, can we do it together, or does it need to be separate?
We could do separate.
Okay, well, I
Okay.
make the motion to, for the summer school hours.
So you're making the motion for the summer school hours?
Yes,
At Lee or Central?
both.
Okay, so you're doing it all together?
No, she's going to separate the staff and the hours, I think. Is that what you said?
But
The request for summer school hours is at,
there's a request for Ms. Gonzalez, and then there's a request for summer school at Central and the high school.
but it's all requests for hours, so can we just?
So you were just
Yeah.
doing it as one?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's been properly moved by Ms. Williamson. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved by Ms. Williamson, seconded by Ms. Gibson for the request of extra summer hours. Is there any discussion? There's no further discussion. It was properly moved by Ms. Williamson, seconded by Ms. Gibson.
I've got a question.
Yes, ma'am.
What are they doing during their extra hours? Is this for planning, or, I mean, isn't that built into the hours, or
For
the extra hours?
Which staff members?
For the summer school teachers?
The teachers?
Right. Would this be everybody? I mean, the cafeteria, or?
Yeah,
Yes,
they're
ma'am. That's
teaching
everybody's working.
summer school.
This summer school.
In other words, anyone that's involved with summer school will
Yes,
get
ma'am.
extra?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Like, the cafeteria staff are working like 6 hours.
Okay.
And then you have their teachers that's working 7.5 hours.
Okay, so this is extra hours, though?
The
No.
extra hours, no,
This is,
no, ma'am.
this
Oh,
is,
okay.
this is
No, ma'am.
not, this would be extra hours for Lee Elementary, but it's not extra hour for summer school as summer
Just-
school.
Right,
This are
summer school,
extra
summer
hours
school.
because teachers are hired as 10-month employees, and this is a summer work. We are hiring them to work during summer school.
Right,
And so it's in addition to their contract,
okay, I got you.
okay? It's just teachers teaching summer school. This is your summer school staff.
Right, I knew that, okay. All right.
Okay, is there any other questions? Okay. If there's no other questions, all those in favor, show a hand, please. 5-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval. 5.4, workforce internship agreement, Ms. Joseph.
Okay, I was contacted from someone down at Workforce, and they are offering to supply us with 2 summer student workers. They will pay all the funds and everything else, but our board has to approve them, and we have to have someone to supervise them. We will possibly get 1 person for clerical and 1 person for custodial work.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the workforce internship agreement?
I move to approve the workforce internship agreement.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Gibson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Carroll. Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Gibson, seconded by Mr. Carroll. All those in favor, show of hand, please. 5-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval. Okay, the next item, 5.5, the financial report for the month ending May the 31st. Ms. Rainick. Good evening.
This thing works, but you can probably hear me, right? We're gonna start backwards tonight. We're gonna start with Fund 4,000 and work forward, because that's where our discussion's gonna end up. So I know you're gonna notice that it looks a little smaller. It looks a little smaller because I have added encumbrances to this financial report that were not on there last time, because I want you to get a real idea of where money's still been encumbered and we haven't paid the money out yet. I also want to give you an idea or a reminder that this is a snapshot in time. So it's what it looked like on May the 31st, and we're going to be working, we've been working together all week, all last week, trying to pull together some preliminary budget figures. So hopefully by the next board meeting, we will know where we really are for the end of the year. So if we look at Fund 4,000, and you look at the last page, you're going to see that we are up about 14% in revenues for the federal programs and the federal grants from last report. We've got about 71% of the money. We can't get the money until we use the money on the federal grants. So we have to ask for it after we use it. But our expenses that we have already spent on federal is also up about 12%, so it's pretty much a wash there. We're still at 74% for our expenses. So we still have a little bit of money that's encumbered there, and you'll see that off to the far right on the bottom part of that page. You'll see where we've got some encumbrances, and what we're trying to do is show you where the money might end up there with the balances. Now, with some of the federal projects, the money has to go back if we don't use it. With some of the federal projects, it rolls forward. It depends on which federal project it is. This also includes a lot of the money for the ESSER, which we will be seeing extended into September. So some of this will be time sensitive, some is not. So if we jump to, any questions on that?
No.
So if we jump to then food service, you're going to see that the revenue for food service is up about 13% for this month over last month. And you're going to see that the budget, the expenditures are also up 5%. However, we haven't got as much money that we are claiming this month. We hasn't been turned in. So at this point in time, they have some outstanding claims against food service that are not in this budget sheet. But we're still looking like we're going to end up with a fund balance of around $66,000, depending on what happens in this last month. And remember, that's assigned money. That means it's money that can only be used for food service. So then we walk forward to Fund 3,000, which is our capital funds, our debts, our bonds, interest, renovations, capital improvement. Now, if you'll notice, in this, we have increased some revenues, about 4% from last month. However, if you look at the estimate for the fund balance, it's going down. And it's going down because we bought 3 buses that the board approved. And we also are working on the 3 elementary schools, the outlying elementary schools. We're working on getting quotes for AC units, retrofitting those schools so that they have more comfortable classrooms for their students. So you're seeing that going down, but it's still looking pretty good. We're hoping that we can hold on that. We don't lose. We don't have a lot encumbered on that account. We only have about $50,000, $53,000 encumbered there. So we're hoping that we're okay, but Just remember that all of that money has to be used just for capital outlay, capital projects. Now we run into Fund 2000. That's our debt service. Those are our investments, our interest, cost of principal, cost of interest for us. It's pretty flat. It looks pretty much like it did last month, so there's no real changes in that one from last month. Still looks like we were going to end up with around $285,000 in there, but it's still totally restricted dollars. We're using that to help pay back the debt that we have. Then we'll come to Fund 1000. The Fund 1000 should have come to you in two different pages. Mine is front and back, but yours should still be 2 pages. The first page of the general fund, you'll notice that the total federal through state money is up a little bit, about 8%. And the total state dollars are up about 6.5%. I believe Superintendent Joseph is going to bring you some good news about timber next month, or next meeting, so we're getting a little bit of money there. We're still at about only 89% of our money collected for the year. There'll be a change in that, but it won't be significant, really significant yet. But if you go to the expenses, this is the page I'm pretty sure you'll want to spend a little more time on it. In the expenditure column, remember, I've added the encumbrances to that. So you're going to get a real feel for where we are and what we still owe. And it's going to pretty much zero things out. If this was the point in time where everything was done, it would be looking like our total unassigned and assigned fund balance that is pretty much used by the district for the things that they have to use it for. That fund balance is going to go to around 11.8. And the attorney last month asked me to make sure that I put that in there. Mm-hmm. However, you have to look at the whole picture. You can't just look at a number. If you look off to the bottom left-hand side of the page, you're going to see a whole bunch of negatives over there. All those negatives are the difference in the FEFP calculations that they gave us for the potential start of the new year. All of those are, for example, class size reduction. It's going to go down $300,000 for us, for our share of it. Safe Schools is $2,500. Mental health, $12,000. If you look down there, it all adds up to our categoricals are going to go down about $300,000 for next year. Now, if you go back underneath where the 11.8% is showing up, if you go underneath there, you're going to see a lot of things that we're going to have to plan for. We're going to have to assign or restrict dollars for. We're raising the minimum wage to $10. Right now, that's looking like about $122,000 just to do that step, just to get them to $10 an hour. And now we have to still remember that these are recurring funds. So next year, it's going to be that, plus next year we got to go up to $11. The following year, $12. We have to get to $15. So every year that's generating a debt on the district's salary because it's increasing the salary load that we're going to have. So we have to plan for that long term. We can't just say, well, we've got a little bit of money, so let's just pay it and we're done with it. You got to plan for the recurrence of that. We have raised our...
Would this be 122 each year to get to the next step?
No, next year it'll probably be more. It'll be this plus.
Okay, yeah, so we're going to be paying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of people that are close to $10, but then we don't have very many that are between 10 and 11, so it's going to be a big load next year as well. And by the time we get to $15 an hour, it's going to be, we need a lot more money. Mm-hmm. Substitutes, if we can get them, as the attorney said in our planning meeting today with the labor union, or with the union folks, if we can get them, it's going to cost us more money to get qualified substitutes. Nobody seems to find them, and we had to raise our rates so that we could attract qualified subs. The instructional step, which is, we're still in bargaining with the instructional step, it looks like it's going to be a minimum of $135,000. If we have to pay the step, we're trying to figure that out right now. I mean, we know, I shouldn't say we're trying to figure out if we have to pay it. We're going to have to pay something, but we don't know what that final number is yet. Our FTE, just our generated money from students, is projected to fall $644,000 for this coming year. So our overall revenue is $644,000. We have some, a new adoption that we're going to have to do for math this year. That's going to cost around $150,000 more than what we have in the instructional materials money. We have a payback on Title I that we have to pay from an audit finding. This year alone, we had to pay ProShare, and you guys know what ProShare is? Okay, good, because I had to learn what that was. It's new for me. But we had to pay ProShare almost $110,000 from claims this year. So we have to anticipate with all of the COVID incidences and everything that we're going to end up with a ProShare payback next year as well. And this year alone, family empowerment and the McKay scholarships, we lost $100,000 in funding in those. So these are just some of the things that would bring the fund balance that we have available down. It would not take it below 5%, which is the board requirement, but it would still bring it down quite a bit, because we have to anticipate these things. Mm-hmm. Questions? I didn't mean to be doom and gloom. I just want to give you a kind of a reality thing here going on.
Thank you for breaking it down for us.
And I think that falling FTE is an eye-opener right there.
Yes.
That is the students that are leaving the school, leaving the public school. Mm-hmm. This is what's happening.
It is, and you know, even though they say that the base salary allocation has gone up, and it did go up a little bit, but the bottom line, when you start figuring in all the categoricals and everything, it's not the same. Okay, we're losing money, even though that went up just a little. Mm-hmm. We're still losing money this year on everything else.
On everything.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate your explanation. Thank you very much.
There's no questions?
No, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is there a motion to approve the financial report for month ending May the 31st, 2021?
I'll make the motion to approve the report.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Williamson. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Carroll. So it's been properly moved by Ms. Williamson, seconded by Mr. Carroll. Is there any discussion? There's no further discussion. All those in favor of the financial report, please raise your hand. 5-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval. And I think I failed to mention this at the beginning. 5.6 and 5.7 are 5.6, our Skyward contract, and 5.7, our junk recycling agreement, have both been pulled tonight. So moving on to 5.8, mental health counselor job description. Ms. Joseph?
I'm going to let Dr. Blue do that.
Okay.
Good evening again. Brother Chair and Board, we want to add, as far as a requirement for this job description, that the person have a master's. Okay. So we want to add that into the job description on tonight to have that approved.
Okay. Okay, is there a motion to approve the job description of the individual having a master's degree for the mental health counselor?
I move to approve the mental health counselor with a master's degree description, in the description.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Gibson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Bell. Is there any discussion? Okay, if there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please show a hand. 5-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval.
Thank you, Brother Chair and Board.
Thank you, Dr. Blue.
Thank you.
Okay, 6.1, superintendent items, Ms. Joseph.
Mr. Chair, in your packet, I've given you notice where the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services shared with us a portion that comes from the sale of forests. The state of Florida owns forest land in different counties. When they sell the forest, the timber from the forest land, a portion of those receipts go back to different agencies within the county. Our share for this year was $938.89. And it will be reflected on your financial statements next month.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Mr. Snicker, do you have anything?
Nothing for me.
Okay. Mr. Carroll.
I just want to congratulate the high school, and all the coaches out there. They received the Kerry E. McDonald Award from the Florida Athletic Coaches Association, the Class 1A Athletic Program of the Year. That was for the COVID year, not this one, but the short one last year. So, our coaches and our kids do a great job out there. I appreciate it.
Okay. Ms. Bell? Ms. Gibson?
Yes, I'd like to say again, thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Baxley on your input and your interest in the schools. And like I said, we'll continue to look into all possibilities this coming year for the following year. And I'd like to say congratulations to the coaches of the high school for all they do each and every day. Thank you very much.
Okay. Ms. Williamson? Nothing? I too would like to congratulate all the coaches at the high school, the student athletes, and for the school for having the program of the year in 1A. Would also like to congratulate all of our teachers for making it through this year, probably one of the hardest years that we've had in the last 100 years in education, and we made it through. At the beginning, we didn't know if we were, but we did, and that's a lot to be said, and not having to shut down any schools and still could continue. I look forward to looking at the data of our student achievement and seeing where we need to go for this next school year. And I too appreciate the Baxleys for coming tonight and showing their interest, and we are moving forward with trying to find an option, some sort of option, and we'll include you all in the conversations at the school. But again, thanks all for coming, and I don't have anything else. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
It's been properly moved by Ms. Williamson. All those in favor of adjournment? 5-0, Ms. Bishop, for adjournment.